We are here in San Diego, California, the Genesis Invitational. Here's one of the beautiful Genesis cars. Let's go down to Brock Gillespie. How you doing, everybody? Brock Gillespie here. We're out at the Genesis Invitational. Friday afternoon. Handful of groups still left out on the course. We're gonna do a little analysis on some of these guys' putting strokes. These guys are doing it a lot of different ways out here, so check out this video and hope you enjoy. So we'll start off with a couple full swings here. Here's Daniel Berger. They're playing the tough hole number 14. This is late Friday afternoon. You can see here Denny McCarthy. Denny had the lead at one point in the final round. Ended up falling short. He's got sort of an interesting pre-shot routine. He takes a little bit of a stutter on the way back, which is kind of unique. That one was going way right. There's Adam Scott playing with Victor Hovland. And then the man, Rory McIlroy. So we're going to take a look at some of these putting strokes here, and I'll give you some insight as to what I see. Here's Justin Thomas. Pretty traditional putting stroke for Justin. A nice make for him. One thing I wanted to show in this video is how long these guys take. I know there's been a lot of backlash. They're trying to cut down round times. I just don't know how you do it. You can start taking strokes away. No one wants that, but it was amazing how long these guys took. Here's Tony Finau. And the interesting thing about this, I caught this video clip about halfway through his pre-shot routine. He's got sort of an interesting cross-handed sort of grip there. Kind of puts the ball more towards his front foot. We'll see a little bit more of Tony later on. A nice make for him. Now we got Justin Thomas and Wyndham Clark having a nice little conversation here. And here's Tony Finau, a fan favorite. God, he was so good with the galleries. A truly inspirational story. Tony Finau came up the hard way through the mini tours and earned his way out here. Here's Denny McCarthy, hole 6. This is his back 9. Denny, considered one of the better putters on tour. Has a pretty traditional setup here. Eyes not directly over the ball, which I thought was kind of interesting. So a lot of people straddling the lines, you know, that they're calling this aim point. I know Lucas Glover came out in the media and said that it's never helped anybody. I completely disagree. I straddle the line sometimes, and it really helps. You kind of can judge the slope through your feet. And a tough lip out there. Now let's get to Adam Scott. Here's another example of someone just taking absolutely forever. Those of you who follow Adam Scott, he's had some problems with his putting over the years. He's gone to a bunch of different techniques. He's going with the long putter now. Keep in mind that you cannot anchor this putter. But once again, I caught him about halfway through his pre-shot routine, and I mean, this just takes forever. If you ever feel like complaining about somebody at a competitive putting tournament taking a long time, just think about these PGA pros and how long they take. So here's Adam Scott with the long putter and just misses. Now we got Rory McIlroy. Rory is another guy who's kind of struggled over the years with his putting. Of course, we all remember his big miss against DeChambeau last year. He's been working on it. He had a pretty good stretch up at Pebble Beach where he was making some putts, but This was early on in the tournament. He was only a few back at this point, but as the days of the tournament went on, he just kept missing putt after putt after putt and was getting very frustrated. Rory has a pretty traditional putting stance and putting setup. Nice make for him there. Now we got Viktor Hovland. Viktor straddling the line like many of these players do. Also doing sort of this variation of an aim point where he kind of sticks his index finger out. Maybe someone can leave a comment about what that actually does. I've seen these guys like Adam Scott put that index finger out. I'm not exactly sure what that does to help you read the putt, but maybe someone can tell me in the comments what the technique is with that, because I did see a lot of guys doing that. Saw some variations of that. We'll see Sanjay M on the practice screen later on in this video. But here's Viktor. Pretty traditional setup. Seems to have a little bit of an acceleration through the stroke. Kind of pop strokes it a little bit. Not much of a follow through. And a tough miss for him there. Now we go to hole 18. This was the end of the round for this group. What a nice pendulum stroke here. Now forgive this footage, it's directly into the sun and we're getting a little bit of some glare here, but here's Viktor Hovland. I wanted to show this putt because it is tracking and looking good. Viktor had a very rough day on the golf course, so it was kind of nice to make a bomb here on 18 for birdie. Now we got Justin Thomas. At this point, Justin was only 4 or 5 back, I believe. Really looking to make this putt here, and it just doesn't fall for him. Now we go back to Adam Scott. Adam trying to get up and down here. You can see him straddling the line. And he sticks that little index finger out. Once again, not exactly sure what that does. But here we go, straddle the line, index finger. As you can see, once again, taking forever. I know it's a long golf course and it's a tough golf course. It was taking these guys nearly 5.5 hours to finish a round. They'd love to figure out some way to solve this. You know, they're wanting these guys to play in 4.5 hours, but it's just not happening. They're taking forever on the putting greens, and I'm just not sure if there's ever going to be a way to solve it unless you start taking strokes away. But here's Rory McIlroy. I think Rory was only 2 or 3 back at this point, so he was in contention. As we know, as the weekend went on in the Genesis, he faltered, and I think he finished, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 back in the end. Just misses this high side. Let's see Rory tap this in. Now let's go out to the practice putting green. There's Justin Thomas saying hi to some fans. Justin was really great with the crowd there. We got Sanjay M here. I was kind of surprised how high Sanjay M takes the putter back off the ground as he takes it away. I'm used to guys doing a little bit more of a low and slow type takeaway with putter, but he's lifting this thing quite a bit off the ground. I'm not sure who this gentleman was. Maybe you can tell me in the comments who this was, but I've never seen anybody make more putts. This guy was just money. Sort of a traditional putting stroke and traditional grip. Not directly over the ball with his eyes, but just making putt after putt after putt. Now here's Hideki Matsuyama. He's got a one-hand putt drill going on here. Some sort of contraption on the ground that's, I would imagine, some sort of stroke guider of some kind, making sure that he's not coming inside or outside. I thought this was interesting, this little step-in move he was doing. He was taking his left foot back and bringing his left foot back in. I thought that was kind of interesting. Hideki Matsuyama has always been considered a really great putter. Here's Sun J.M., and he was doing sort of a variation of that aim point, kind of sticking his left fist out and his hand out, but the hand wasn't making a fist. It was kind of an open-faced hand kind of situation. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I'm sure it's some sort of variation of this aim point thing that some of the guys are doing, like Adam Scott, where he's sticking the index finger out. Once again, maybe you can leave in the comments what that technique is supposed to do. And my guess is it's sort of somewhat like a plumb bob type situation. Here's Davis Thompson. Davis at this point had the lead in the tournament. I thought this was kind of interesting. He was having his coach stick his left hand up next to his head. It wasn't against his head. It's hard to see right here, but it was about 2 or 3 inches away. And I guess that's just to help Davis know where his head is during the stroke. And here's that gentleman once again that I don't know who this is. Maybe you can leave in the comments who this is. I thought it was Justin Thomas at first, but it's not. But this guy was just pouring in 6-footers like it was no one's business. Here's another one of the tour pros practicing some longer putts down this slope. And now Davis Thompson again. Davis, a little bit of a cross-handed grip. He had his hands so close together it was tough to see that, but he does go cross-handed, as well does Tony Finau. Now, Tony Finau has gotten a lot of criticism about his stroke. He stands quite a ways away from the ball. He also has the toe of his putter up a little bit. And it's actually kind of surprising how many PGA Tour pros have a toe that's up a little bit. I think it's just a personal feel type thing. I think some guys probably get used to it over the years, and if they don't do it, it feels funny. Keep in mind that if your toe is up, the loft of the putter is going to make the ball go a little bit left, so you got to compensate for that. But I think it's one of those situations where who am I to tell Tony Finau what he should or shouldn't be doing? I mean, these guys putt all day long. So here's Tony Finau again. You can get a good look at this cross-handed grip. Ball a little bit forward in the stance. And I thought this was kind of interesting. Not only is he cross-handed, but that left hand is quite a ways down the putter. You know, most guys are trying to keep their hands together to keep them connected in some way, but not the case there. And let's take a look at Rory McIlroy here. By far the fan favorite. I could not believe how many people were yelling Rory's name. The true superstar of the game.
You get a ball, Rory?
He's headed over to the tent to talk to the Golf Channel people. Now here's Tony Finau again. I thought this was kind of an interesting contraption here. Just trying to keep everything together. All positions of the forearm, trying to lock those in. Thought that was kind of interesting. People complain about these POA greens, but gosh, I was watching these rolls and it seemed like they were rolling really true. I mean, I guess I'm used to your local municipal green, but you know, you can kind of see a little bit of the splotchiness in the green. A lot of the players complain about these Poana greens. Now here's Denny McCarthy. Once again, Denny considered one of the better putters on tour. He's a very short guy, very close to the ground. One thing about Denny McCarthy that I noticed, very meticulous pre-shot routine. Even during his practice sessions, he lines up that ball using the line on his ball. We saw a lot of great 4 to 7 foot putts from Denny McCarthy during this Genesis Invitational. He played great but wasn't able to get it done. So I hope you enjoyed this putting analysis. Please subscribe to this channel for future videos.